How much does it cost for homeschooling? The short answer is it can cost as much or as little as you want. In this video, I'm going to tell you about my experience of home educating as a single parent on a low income and how it is possible to homeschool on a budget. So I'm Rachel. I'm a homeschooling mum to an 8-year-old daughter. She's never been to school. I decided really early on that we were going to home educate, and I started going to local home education meets and groups when she was really young, when she was only 10, 11 months old, because I wanted to create a network. I wanted to get to know people locally so that when the time came to actually get into the homeschooling, the home educating, we would have a friendship group for her in place. So really, there never came a time when we were homeschooling. It's kind of been a natural progression. You know, I attachment parented her as a baby and a toddler, and it just seems to have been a natural progression from that I wouldn't hand her over to somebody else to be educated, that she would just learn in the same way as she's learned everything else, in a really natural, sensory environment where she is following her own lead and her own interests and her own curiosity, and is learning through life, through engaging in life, and through her environment. And so I'm a single parent. I work part-time, and it's very much possible to be able to home educate and work at the same time. So first of all, I'm going to just say I kind of use the terms home educate and homeschooling interchangeably. In the UK, it is known as home education. Elective home education is the correct terminology for home-based learning. In America and in the wider global community, it's known as homeschooling. If people are searching for information, they're more likely to put in the term homeschooling. And that's why I use the terms interchangeably, and I use homeschooling in the titles of my videos. I know in the UK, people can be quite particular about using the term home education. I understand why that is, but I'm just trying to explain why I do use both terms. And I'm used to saying home education, so I might slip into that when other people might be used to the term homeschooling. So yeah, homeschooling on a budget. So there are many free resources out there. You can spend a great deal of money on curriculums and tutors and online courses if you choose to do that. You know, there is a wealth of resources out there. You can also home educate completely for free. I know people who they don't follow any particular curriculum. Their child's education is very much child-led, autonomous, unschooling, free range, however you want to term it. And so they will, you know, the things they do are, you know, they meet up with people, with other families, with friends in parks, for example, or the woods, and they, you know, they just create their own activities, or the children just play and explore. And so they're not necessarily spending very much on their child's education at all. If anything, maybe their craft supplies or trips to places, but you know, they do as many free things as possible. So online, there are many free resources. There are downloadables, there are printables, there are lesson plans. The TES website is a good place for lesson plans. So there are lots of free things that you can download and you can print off, or you can replicate, or if you are interested in particular activities for your children, if you become part of a home ed community, particularly online, and most of the home ed communities tend to be on Facebook, there are lots of like subscription groups or people that will organise, for example, trips to the cinema or the theatre, and they're able to, because of the group, they are able to get the discounts that school groups would get. And so you're able to access those kinds of things, or theme parks, or like SeaWorld, Sea Life, Legoland, you know, all these kinds of activities and events and attractions that normally can really be expensive. You can get them for a much reduced price if you are tapping into the organised groups and communities that exist within the home educating world. And that's how we've been able to do a lot of things that we wouldn't have been able to do otherwise. So I work part-time, and I'm able to fit that around my daughter's learning, her education, because I work as a virtual assistant. So the work that I do, I can organise it. I do maybe 2 hours a day. I either do that in the morning before she wakes up, or I'll do it in the evening when she's having downtime and she's watching TV, or she's having some screen time. We're able to have quite a lot of holidays, and the way that we do that is that, one, we have lots of camping holidays, often with other home ed families. Obviously, because of lockdown, there hasn't been a lot going on, but previously there were several national home ed festivals that were organised every year at a pretty reasonable cost, for 5 days or 7 days, camping and activities included. There are often youth hostel holidays that are organised, and again, because of it being a big group, the organisers are able to get the big group discount. So we've had like 5 nights youth hosteling for like £60 for the both of us. So there's some really reasonable deals to be had and opportunities to be had once you kind of you make those connections and you have that network. Another way that we sightsee and travel is that we do house sitting. So we will go and stay in a person's house when they're on holiday and care for their pets and look after their house. And we do that for free, but often they're in a really nice location. Like, we've just come back from a trip to London. It was like in the suburbs of London, but we were able to travel into central London and do some sightseeing. Before that, we were in Exeter. So we've been traveling around for most of the summer holidays during July and August, having various trips, and it's not cost us anything other than fuel money and expenses while we're there. So, and that has been an amazing learning opportunity. We've been in the centre of London, we've seen the Tower of London, and all the many sites and historical things that there are to see there. So yeah, learning opportunities. Budgeting, I'm trying to think of other ways. If you decide to do online courses, there are often home education discounts if you contact the website or the course provider. They are there can be cheaper ways to do that as well. So yeah, I'd say on the whole, it is very much possible to home educate to work part-time and to do it all on a budget. It's very much about mindset for me, and adjusting my lifestyle according to my income, which was obviously reduced when I decided to not work full-time and to be at home educating my daughter. So yeah, it's looking for ways to access learning opportunities that are, you know, that are not as expensive as they normally would be. And if you look around, there are lots and lots of them. But I think the key thing is to access what's already available. And I think the easiest way to do that, I mean, a lot of people don't like Facebook as a platform. I understand completely the reasons for that. But the fact is that most of the home education community are there. There are hundreds and hundreds of different groups for different areas, for different topics, for different reasons, or, you know, organising different things. And they are a wealth of information, and also, you know, from the practical side, for being able to get together and meet other families and help your child to make friendship groups. Yeah, so I think for me that has been the most important resource, really, and from that has come lots of different ways to homeschool in an affordable way. Now, if you are going to access various curriculums, there are still cheaper options. There are cheaper options that, yeah, I'm not going to go into that now. But like I say, once you'll find your own way. Once you kind of get into that whole community, it kind of opens up to you there's different ways of doing it and accessing discounts and things like that. So if you have found what I've said useful and you'd like to hear more about home educating your preschool or primary aged child, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you again.